Hello, ladies and gentlemen. You're here with the My Health First podcast, where I answer your questions about human health. Today, we're going to discuss how the Food and Drug Administration must change its policies, which allow for the consumption of elements harmful to public health. I am here with a good friend of mine, John Bale Rule, a freshman at Moravian University, preparing for medical school, and the 2024 Liberty Homecoming King. How are we doing today, John Bay?
Very good, buddy. What about you?
I'm doing great.
I'm very excited to be on this podcast today.
It's great to hear. So let's get into it. Tell me, John Bay, what exactly is the problem?
Well, every day, millions of Americans are ingesting and even drinking dangerous substances, which the FDA, also known as the Food and Drug Administration, is supposed to manage. Not only does this affect Americans, but also people living in the territories of the United States, like Puerto Rico. The adverse effects caused by these substances not only affect you, but also your pets, your relatives, and even children in the womb, so embryos. But what exactly is the FDA anyways, Ilya?
Good question. The FDA is a federal agency which serves 6 purposes. It ensures that the food and beverages we consume are safe. It ensures that medical drugs and methods are safe and effective. This includes vaccines, therapies, and veterinary practices. It ensures that cosmetic products are safe for use. It ensures that medical devices such as pacemakers are safe and effective. It ensures that radiation emitting devices like smartphones fall within a safe range for humans, and it ensures that the proper regulations are provided for the sale of tobacco. Don't eat that.
So, today we're going to be focusing on specifically food. Although all aspects have room for improvement, unfortunately, the FDA has certainly not ensured our safety relating to food and beverage consumption, considering the harmful substances present in what we consume.
For example, phthalates are pervasive plasticizers present in the packaging of foods, such as chips. These insidious chemicals impart plastic to be flexible and inexpensive. Alas, the negative side effects of these chemicals are atrocious. Endocrine issues, infertility, and metabolic issues, miscarriage, and early childhood developmental issues are just some examples of how phthalates negatively impact our health.
So, the endocrine issues associated with phthalates have been shown to greatly increase the risk of breast cancer, disproportionately affecting women. It goes even beyond packaging. Dairy products like cheese often go through plastic tubing while being manufactured. During this process, many different phthalates leach into the dairy, with some studies finding over 2,500 micrograms of DEHP per kilogram, a potent phthalate.
Aspartame is another extremely dangerous food additive that the FDA has allowed us to consume. Aspartame, an additive that is 400 times sweeter than sugar, is one of the most common low-calorie sugars. Almost all diet beverages, like Diet Coke, I know, right, contain aspartame. Unfortunately, this comes at a cost. Severe neurological damage, seizures, and cancers. Who knew that drinking Diet Coke could do that to you? This so-called weight loss chemical has been linked to type 2 diabetes and weight gain.
Both phthalates and aspartame have been heavily restricted in Europe and are on their way to being banned due to their implications. But the United States has fallen short for caring for its people in the same way.
Lastly, several food dyes such as Red 40, Yellow 5, Yellow 6, and Blue 1 are very prevalent in American foods. These dyes are associated with developmental issues, cancer, and allergies. Household favorites like Fruit Loops contain all 4 of these dyes, and the same exact product exists in Canada, but instead with natural vegetable dyes in place of the harmful chemical ones.
How about yellow 3, 2, 1, and 4?
I have no clue.
Anyway, the list of harmful ingredients goes on and 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 on squared. We can discuss the methylene chloride in coffee, which causes several forms of malignant cancer. We can talk about the titanium dioxide in household candies like Skittles causing genetic mutations. Bet you weren't thinking about that when you were munching on them last night. We can talk about BHA and BHT in many preserved baked goods, acting as endocrine and immune disruptors.
Monosodium glutamate, potassium bromate, propylparabens, tert-butyl hydroquinone. I'm sure you've never heard of those, but you eat them almost
Me
every
neither.
day. And the list goes on. The worst part is, the average person has no clue what any of these words refer to or indicate. Therefore, they are unknowingly poisoning themselves. The FDA has a duty to protect us from these substances, yet they allow companies to poison us every day for the sake of cheaper cost. Your lives are worth more than the major corporations saving a few bucks.
And good shouts to the nations of the European Union, which have banned these harmful substances, which in some cases they have banned over 100 times more additives than the FDA. The United States has higher rates of cancer, obesity, type 2 diabetes, and much more. This problem is serious. Your lives and lives of those you love are at risk. Is it fair to the child who unknowingly puts themselves at risk for stunted development? And is it fair to the woman who unknowingly puts herself at risk for breast cancer?
The FDA is meant to safeguard public health, yet it has permitted the consumption of deleterious substances. In order to protect the people of the United States, we must press for reform within our government, and we must demand that the FDA puts an end to the tolerance of malicious chemicals. Thank you for listening to my podcast, and I hope to see you next week when we discuss the steps of how to reduce exposure to harmful chemicals. What's wrong? Oh, our podcast.
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
Our podcast.